Signs everywhere. A sign. Stop. Wait, no. Damn it. Brain injury. Blocking up the scenery, breaking my mind.
I saw the sign and I opened up my eyes. I saw the sign.
Signs of what, Lauren?
TBIs and brain injuries.
Boom. Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the
NeuroNerds.
Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
Joe made fun of me.
I absolutely did. Hey, what's up, NeuroNerds?
I was like, we're back to right on schedule with being made fun of.
I shamed Lauren because I had to.
Well, so we have interns. We're like so cool. We have
awesome
interns, guys.
Is that?
I'm like, I walk in and when we're going to do our episodes, I'm like, oh my God, there's like new people.
There's
like
strangers
cool.
here.
Yeah, I'm like, stranger danger?
Yes.
I'm trying to convert them to Team Lauren.
For them. It's stranger danger for them.
I did try to coerce them onto my side with bribery and threats.
Okay, so the threats, yes. The bribery is still a threat.
Well, I was offering to teach someone how to play piano. That's not a threat.
No, it was, if you're on Team Lauren, you won't feel the pain of my hits. It's a threat.
No, but anyway, so one of our new interns,
Max.
I just met him 5 minutes ago. I was like, what's your nerdom? Like, what's your fandom?
Everybody has a nerdom, no matter what it is.
Yeah. I first used the word fandom and he's like, I don't understand. I was like, oh, okay, we got issues here. So I said, what are you nerdy about? And then he said D&D. And I was like, that's why you don't have a fandom. You are a nerd.
Specific. It's not like, oh, it's like Star Wars, Harry Potter.
But that's a fandom. That's not a nerdom.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So like D&D is like on this whole other level,
guys. He could have been like fish. I'm a big fan of sea life.
I mean, some people are. Jacques Cousteau. I had that documentary. I loved that. It was like a National Geographic special. I had the VHS. It was amazing.
On, man. Like everybody already knows, if anyone has ever heard this show, how big of a nerd you are.
Do you know who Jacques Cousteau is?
I absolutely do.
Okay, good.
But I didn't watch stuff on VHS. I don't know what I watched it on. I don't understand. Dude.
And I had the coffee table book. I still have it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
You absolutely do.
Anyway, so Max is a D&D nerd, and then him and I kind of went off on a D&D tangent.
We started having a conversation about God knows what.
And Joe's looking at me like, okay, well, those are words I think.
Yeah, you mentioned something about so here's what was crazy. The conversation, it was a cool conversation because it kind of sounded like, so we were playing basketball and then it was like, we're down by 2.
Anything like this.
And it was like 3 seconds left and we passed the ball and got it in the last second, hit the 3. Oh, it was crazy. It was kind of like a sporting thing, but you were like, and then there was a Balrog, right? And then he grabbed the die and when he rolled the dice,
it was a 20.
He rolled a 20. It was okay.
And it killed the Balrog. Oh my God. Do you guys understand how hard it is to kill a Balrog?
Nobody understands that. Because nobody plays D&D.
Some people do.
Yeah, that's true.
Why you gotta hate on them?
I'm trying not to shame you guys.
You shall not pass, bro. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh, that's a Balrog.
Yes, that's a Balrog.
Wait, are Balrogs all are they all fire?
That's like their shtick is like being fire demons. Okay. Like these huge Ifrit style fire demons.
So is Surtur from Marvel?
You could argue. Well, no, he is a fire giant, right? From Muspelheim, right? That's the name of his planet/realm is Muspelheim. And he is a fire giant. You could
He's a fire demon.
No, he's a giant.
He's a fire demon.
The fire giant.
He's Surtur, the fire demon.
No, look it up. I think it's fire giant.
You
want me to Google this right now?
I don't. I think the people out there should look it up and just at home know that Joe's correct. By the way, we started this episode off hot with Nerdom. We're supposed to be talking about signs of a signs of a stroke, signs of a brain injury.
But that could be what's happening right now.
That's true. That's true. This is actually this is signs of the aftermath of a brain injury or a stroke or an aneurysm. Remember,
we're called NeuroNerds. So we're just doing the neuro part, okay? I'm going to look up Surtur. Is a fire
demon.
Giant.
No, he's a fire demon.
Surtur.
I think you're stuck.
He's a Yoda.
Okay.
He's a type of Jotun, like how...
He didn't look green.
No, so you know how Loki is a frost giant, right? Surtur is a Jotun, a type of Jotun.
No, he's a demon. He's the fire demon.
I am looking at from the Poetic Edda, which is the Norse mythology that Marvel pulled from.
Oh, they did
So
pull.
go fuck yourself. This is what is correct.
They pulled, but they also adjust. And I'm pretty sure they adjusted him into being okay.
It says Surt, also known as Surtur, is a fire giant who leads his kin into battle against the Assyr and Vanir gods.
Yeah, that's fine. You have to look it up through Marvel wiki. Let me look.
Okay, Marvel. Let's see. Well, it does say Surtur is a fire demon native to the extra-dimensional plane of Muspelheim.
Oh, wait, hold on. A word?
Yeah, no, it's true. But it said land of fire demons and one of the 9 worlds. But it's a fire giant. Giant and demons can be interchangeable.
Well, the Hulk could technically be a giant.
He could also be a demon.
He could be.
Yeah.
But he's not Hulk the demon giant. He's not.
That's like comparing apples to bananas.
It is.
So I call out that fallacy, okay? But sorry, where we're going with this? Anyways, we can tie all this back because what we're going to talk about today are signs and symptoms of everything we suffer. No.
Yes.
Because what is March but
Brain Injury Awareness Month? Yeah. Yes. See?
Sounds about right. But because of that, so we're going to go through and talk about some of the more, I would say, like popular, like sexy brain injuries.
Sexy brain injuries.
We're all going out right now to go shop for these brain injuries. Anyways, so what we're going to talk about today are going to be the signs and symptoms of strokes, aneurysms. Oh shit. These are words. These are letters. Arteriovenous malformation.
Yes.
That was close. Traumatic brain injuries.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, hi. And chronic traumatic I can say this. Encephalopathy.
Yeah, that.
CTE, guys. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this and I'm like, oh, fuck. What is this?
So there's a reason.
I have the notes because Joe can't handle it.
There's a reason why Lauren has the notes. Because I saw the notes and I was like, oh my God, that just gave me anxiety.
Yeah, he literally looked at the paper and
I was like,
he almost walked out.
Yeah, so I have a thing where if somebody texts me, like if we're
his name is Tony Stark and he doesn't get handed things.
Yeah, please don't hand them to me. Peasants?
Yeah, pleb.
So if somebody like sends me a text message, if it's longer than half an inch, I just don't read it. Like, I don't mean to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick, like at all. I don't process the same way since I had my stroke. So if it's something really, really long, I find it really, really hard to like hold on to it. And it makes me like super, super anxious. Yeah. So I tend to like not read those. So people know to break it down. It's like, it's okay. So if you're texting somebody, it's conversational. I've
seen that. I don't like that. I don't like getting 20 texts. But for you, I adjust my texting. So I give you a little bit and then I give you a GIF and then I give you a little bit and then give you a GIF. So he can also get the whatever implied tone he thinks is in there out of it because I give him the GIF with the
visuals are amazing.
He gets the appropriate tone.
Yeah, our conversations, no matter what it's about, it's like it's amazing. Just visually, it's like, oh yeah, clearly they're talking about this.
And then there's lots of Deadpool I use or SpongeBob. You know?
Oh, yeah.
But so, yeah, we're going to talk about those today. And then because Lauren will, I will tie it back to D&D.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, I almost stabbed myself in the eye with paper. Oh my God,
how crazy would it be if like you Nick Fury'd yourself with a piece of paper?
Knowing that would be about it.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, so wait for me to tie this back, guys. And I will make it to Disney. That can lead to Marvel.
See, it's all connected.
I got you.
Just like Disney Marvel.
I got you guys. I'm going to cry. So what we're going to start with, because this is close to home for our resident stroke expert.
Oh, Strokey Joe.
Right? For Strokey Joe, for Stroke Pool over there. Joe is going to talk about some of the signs of strokes, both like pre, during, and after. And then anything he missed, I'll just jump in when he's done to kind of clarify on some of the stuff since I have the like research. Because
boom, they did a hell of a job too.
They did. It's actually really cool because there's like some days we come in here and we're like, oh shit.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, remember when we like a handler, guys? Like we need a
handler. And our handler just needs help.
Yeah, we're too much.
A little bit. So like pre-stroke, I had a lot of the warning signs, but I didn't do anything with them because I'm not a very bright person, as proven by Lauren several times. Every conversation.
You are a shining example of the average Joe.
Oh I'm not your average everyday Joe.
No, you're an
see what I did there?
average.
But speaking of Joe's, what is it? May 27th, National Joe Day. Yeah, if you want to change your name to Joe, you can do it just for that one day.
Please don't do it.
So pre-stroke, I suffered from tremendous migraines, like just crazy migraines, like vomiting in the shower for like 16 hours. God. It was rough.
If you've never had a migraine, guys, it's awful. I didn't suffer migraines until my brain injury. So like the amount of empathy I have is insane. I carry extra strength like ibuprofen and Imitrex, which is the super drug to help dilate all the capillaries. Mm-hmm. I carry that even though I don't get them anymore. Just that way if someone gets it and I'm like, here, take drug.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah. So like migraines run in my family. Apparently I'm under the assumption high blood pressure does too. So
probably does.
Unchecked
it is
high
genetic.
blood pressure. So I just thought, oh well, it's my turn. I get headaches now, and that happened. It was such a long period of time for the migraine. So I suffered those. I suffered tremendous neck pain. Like when I talked to a doctor, the doctor was like, "Yeah, your neck shouldn't hurt like that ever, unless you really strain something. Your neck shouldn't hurt for long periods of time." And my neck would just be sore and stiff for weeks.
Yeah, guys,
and months.
Neck pain is a red flag.
Yeah. So all of these things were just like, oh yeah, dummy. Also, my knees hurt. Like I had like really bad knee pain. Ooh. And it was like, oh, well, I don't have I had basketball injuries in my knee. So I was like, oh, that's what it is.
Yes, pro Joe.
So I was like, oh, it's just my knee acting up.
I am such an athlete.
It's going to rain. Hey, Joe was dope. Huh? See, anyways,
continue.
So, I just had like I just have bad knees, so my knees hurt. Maybe it'll rain. Like that's why they're sore. But it was just like my body telling me, like, hey, dummy, there's something wrong.
Literally every red flag that could be thrown up was they were throwing them up.
And yeah.
What was your blood pressure at? Do you remember like one of your high ones?
It was insane.
What was
200 over like 150, 180. I don't know.
Fact check. Joe's blood pressure was 200 over 125 when he entered the emergency room.
My uncle just got hospitalized with a blood pressure that high. We're all like, ooh, dude, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, tell your uncle I had a stroke.
He's in the hospital right now.
Good. Well, not because he's in the hospital. It's because he's like being taken care of.
So it's about time. He's 65, so it's about time.
Oh, yeah, I was 39. That was not good.
We're going to get on to that.
Yeah, so I had all the telltale signs, and I just didn't do anything with it because not very bright. Not very bright, but I just was never taught that way, so that sucks.
So this is where we come back to Ace of Base. What are some of the signs? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off what some of the classic signs are for the stroke, and then Joe is going to kind of chime in with,
like, yep.
or chime in like, well, this is how it affected me, or this is how it was recognized. So it says that strokes, there's more than 200,000 cases a year, but the majority is 60 years old and older, right? Because that's when like your arteries start to weaken, and that's when all the health problems kick in and underlying issues, unless your name is Joe and you're 39, right? So one of the first signs is trouble speaking and understanding. This is the confusion. This is the slurring the words.
That was after for me. The next day, because my brain was bleeding, I don't know if I slurred. I'm not 100% sure if I slurred because I don't remember. This is all secondhand information for me. But when I was forced to go to the hospital is Felice had to teach a vocal lesson. I was laying down in the room, and so she told me, "Oh, go lay down on the couch." And I was like, okay. And I went immeliately to the kitchen, apparently. And she came out and she was looking around. She's like, where are you? And she said, Judd, I thought I told you to, go in the living room, lay down on the couch, and like really pissy. I was like, I am in a living room, but I was like standing in the kitchen.
Yeah. Like the wires were crossed in there.
Yeah. Like I must have looked like a crazy person. Well, crazier person. Yeah. So definitely.
All right. So the next one is paralysis or numbness of the face, arm, or leg, though I'm also assuming you could have a combination.
Right. I didn't have that. I did, all the muscles of my body got really weird. It was hard to walk, but I didn't have any of those issues.
Fact check. Joe actually did experience left side paralysis while in the hospital. He just doesn't remember.
I had those a little bit later on when I had left side neglect.
Yeah, I was going to say it often happens on one side of the body. It's usually left. Next is, and this is also like when you look at someone's face and it's like one side of the mouth droop.
Right.
So that's where
face droop. I had it apparently when I was already in the hospital though. Yeah. Felice looked at me and like my face just drooped at one point.
And it depends also on what side of your brain you have the stroke.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that will depend, like if you have a droopy, it's not like, it's your left side. The left side is if you're going to have. Yeah. But if you have a heart attack, that's where like the left side gets numb or the pain is on the left is a heart attack.
And you smell toast. No, that's a thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Apparently you smell toast. Bread.
Yeah, burning bread. Oh my God. You're like, ooh, delicious.
Yummy.
Oh no.
No, exactly. But with a stroke, when you have the drooping or the inability to move or use things, it's dependent on the side of the brain that the stroke happens, and it's the opposite side because the like your right side of your brain controls your left side, and the left side of the brain controls the right side.
Yeah, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with the slurring too.
Yeah,
you're just muscles aren't working.
Things don't work. The next one is another sign is trouble seeing in one or both eyes, or blurred or blackened vision. Did you have that?
Blurred, yes, I guess, but more due to the migraine. The migraine, it was just hard to focus on anything.
I think that's like the pressure probably building up from the blood, right? Affecting the orbital nerve.
Yeah, it sucks so bad.
I know you had the headache.
Oh my gosh.
With vomiting or something.
Spike to the brain. The vomiting came after the vessel burst in my brain. But yeah, that absolutely came.
And then you already mentioned this one, but trouble walking.
Oh, yeah. I was learning how to walk again.
Mm-hmm. So this one is a lot of people know this acronym, which is FAST. And it's not just because here are the things to check, but it's also like you have to act fast.
Yes.
So the first one, the F stands for face.
Face. If the face is drooping, if there's issues with the face, so that's the first thing that you see.
And they say to ask the person to smile. So if you notice that someone is drooping on one side of their face, ask them to smile. Right. And if they only can smile on one side, then something really bad has happened.
Yeah. You get to the hospital immediately.
Exactly. The next one is A for arm.
Arm.
And this is, again, to ask the person to raise both arms. And you have to be aware, does one arm drift downward or is one arm unable to rise up? Again, that has to do with whatever side the stroke happened on. They don't have control of that side anymore. S is for speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. Is his or her speech slurred or strained? I think that was you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Well, I'm strange to begin with, but stranger.
Yeah, stranger.
Yeah.
Would have been cool if you just started suddenly speaking fluent Spanish.
It would be great if I had like a Cockney accent. You know what I mean?
Someone said they woke up from a stroke, right? With some weird accent, right? They like woke up and suddenly they spoke like British English.
It would be great if I woke up and I sounded exactly like Christopher Walken.
That would be amazing. More people would listen to us. T stands for time. If you observe any of these signs, call 911 immediately.
Now.
Do not be like literally that is not the time to be like, can I afford an ambulance? This is not the time to be like,
all that stuff will work itself out.
It will at the end of the day, one way or another.
The most important thing is your health, you know?
And being alive.
Yeah.
Being alive.
I guess that's important
I think that's really important is being alive or getting that other person to be alive. And then also to keep in mind that the person that you're with, like if you're helping them and you're noticing these things, like you could be the determining factor on how much damage that they may retain and or if they live or die, which is like, I don't mean to like put a lot on you, but that's like, this is why it's act fast.
What if there are people out there who are like, I just don't do well under pressure?
Right. Then again,
it's life or death.
Remember guys, if you have your phone, 911. So let's say you recognize that you're developing some of these signs.
Right.
All you got to do if you have a cell phone is do your emergency call.
Yeah, that's it. Just
emergency call.
With hopefully, you know, all of your hands are functional.
Yeah. Mental faculties are there. But if you're able to do an emergency call or if you have, a touch phone, like you can dial from the house or something or go somewhere. If you're at a coffee shop or something and this is happening, just ask someone to call 911 and you can just say stroke or I'm having a stroke.
Yes.
Like do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need to save yourself. You know, I was thinking about so strokes and brain aneurysms. Mm-hmm. So there's always telltale signs like beforehand. With a brain aneurysm, there isn't.
Well, great. On to our next topic. Perfect segue. Is an aneurysm. So luckily, neither Joe or I have an aneurysm to the best extent of our abilities that we know. And so this one is less than 200,000 cases a year. Now, for those of you who might not know what an aneurysm, and again, you probably know what a stroke is and you know what a TBI is because we talk about those constantly because that's what we had.
That's us.
That's us.
This is us.
Yeah, we're a basket full of crazy. But if you have an aneurysm, it is a ballooning. See, I didn't even know this. It's a ballooning and weakened area in an artery. So you know how like the brain has all these vessels and arteries and veins run through our brain. So brain aneurysms develop as a result of thinning artery walls and often form at forks or branches in the arteries because those sections of the vessels are the weakest. And that's what a brain aneurysm. And that's when like,
you know what? I think I'm going to exercise my vessels. You know what I mean? Get them stronger. Like, can you do like calisthenics for like your vessels in your brain?
I think thinking is how you actually strengthen those.
Oh, man.
That's how you strengthen your brain is by using it.
I'm out.
Yeah. So apparently there are 3 different types of aneurysm. I did not know this. Just how there's like 2 different types. There's a couple different types of strokes, different types of TBIs. There's different flavors of aneurysm. Which one do you want? So the first one is ruptured aneurysm. These are the
delicious.
ones. These are the ones. These are the ones you usually hear about, like sometimes in the news. Like I think a few years ago, like there was a kid on a roller coaster that had one, you know.
Also, rupture is a really intense word.
Yeah, it's kind of like up there with moist. It's like it like produces this very visceral reaction. So ruptured aneurysms are sudden and extremely severe headaches, nausea and vomiting, stiff neck, blurred double vision, sensitivity to light, seizure, drooping eyelids, loss of consciousness, or confusion are all symptoms of a ruptured aneurysm.
So almost a carbon copy of like stroke. Yeah. Right.
Like
but this is after the fact. You know what I mean? Like it's after.
Yeah. After it's ruptured. There's no precursors. Like a lot of people don't know they have these weakened parts in their brain.
A lot of people, they go their entire life without, having any issue. And some people say, oh yeah, well, that just happened out of nowhere.
So another is a leaking aneurysm. Another great word.
I don't like the word. Yeah, that sounds weird.
And that's an aneurysm that leaks a slight amount of blood that then there's a sudden and extremely severe headache.
Right, because there's blood where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and it's again with that pressure building and building. So like a stroke is almost like a violent eruption.
Yes.
Right? That happens or it's like a pew little hole and then it just continues. And this one is like where it just leaks slowly into the brain fluid.
It's so weird.
And so then where most people kind of live in is an unruptured aneurysm. And again, this is where there's really no symptoms. But you might develop is not the word. You might exhibit is the correct word. Pain above and behind one eye, a dilated pupil, change in vision or double vision, and numbness on one side of the face.
Oh, yeah.
And most people who get this are ages 19 and up.
Oh, okay. So that's much younger.
Yeah, much younger than a stroke.
See, I had the old people.
The geriatric version.
The geriatric version. I was young. I was 39.
I know you were, you poor thing.
I was a baby.
Just living your unhealthy life.
Completely. Well, no. I was surviving my unhealthy life.
And surviving his unhealthy life. So the next one on our list is the arteriovenous, I think is how I say it.
AVM.
Yeah. Malformation.
I know that one.
Yes, we do.
Several of my really close friends had that.
So again, this is less than 200,000 cases a year, and it is a tangle of abnormal blood vessels connecting arteries and veins in the brain.
Yeah.
Now, here are some signs. So those of you, again, Joe knows many, but maybe you've never heard of this before. And so that, again, may not have any symptoms until it ruptures.
Right? That's so crazy.
It's a lot of things. It's almost like the stuff in brains are ticking time bombs, like Janine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so but this can also be accompanied by seizures, headaches, or pain in one area of the head, muscle weakness, or numbness in a part of the body, severe headache, numbness or paralysis, vision loss.
That's frightening.
Right? Difficulty speaking, confusion or inability to understand others, and severe unsteadiness. And the onset is usually between 10 and 40 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is like the young person.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But again, and so you're starting to notice a lot of the symptoms for brain injuries are very similar.
Very, very. It just depends, I guess, like the timing.
Yeah.
Of them.
And maybe the severity of it.
Oh, yeah.
But so if you're presenting any of these symptoms, you don't know which one you might be having. So again, fast, FAST. Okay, guys, the acronym, get thee to a hospital.
Do that quickly.
Yeah. Instead of get thee to a nunnery, get thee to a hospital. Okay. So the next one is my flavor, traumatic brain injury.
Yay.
And again, this is more than 200,000 cases a year, guys. And these are reported cases, not unreported, because many people get concussions and traumatic brain injuries and don't know it, right? And this is, again, a brain dysfunction caused by an outside force, usually a violent blow to the head. Ding, ding, ding. That's Lauren.
That's Joe after he pisses off Lauren.
So again, our symptoms of this is a little bit different than some of the other ones. Again, my symptoms that I presented with shared some of the brain bleed types, which is why my doctor was very concerned. But here are the signs: is difficulty thinking. God, yes. Ugh. Man, I had difficulty thinking for 3 months. That was really traumatic for me.
That must have. I don't understand how you got past that, honestly. I don't know. I kind of know a little bit more of the way that you think. You're a thinker. You really are. And if you struggle with that.
That's what therapy and meditation and grace and prayer is for. It helps you through the hard times.
You don't sound like a sociopath right now at all.
I was thinking I sounded like Schmeagol.
You do.
Right? With the precious.
Precious brain injury.
But you can also have difficulty concentrating. Oh, look. And then difficulty remembering new information. That's a toughie.
Oh.
But you also present some other physical symptoms as well, such as the headache, the fuzzy or the blurry vision. Oh my God, yes. I lost central vision. Oh. That was scary. Nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. Again, any injury to any blow to the head, you don't even have to have a concussion.
Right.
It's not like an entrance, like, woohoo, I got a concussion. But if you ever get hit in the head and then you throw up, that's a very bad sign. Get thee to a hospital. That's going to be our new hashtag, get thee to a hospital. Again, you might also present signs like a migraine, sensitivity to noise or light. You're going to also have balance problems. Woohoo, I had that. And then you're going to be fatigued, tired as fuck.
Yeah, because, there's no better thing to do than jump on a pole when you have balance issues.
That was 2 days later. Okay. Don't judge me. I had trouble walking upstairs to show a home, guys. Like I was clinging to the balustrade of the staircase. I was like, go on up, have fun while I try not to
Just like
fall.
You were trying to cling onto a pole, you weirdo.
Shut up. I didn't say people should do what I did.
Yes, do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, exactly. You also present emotional issues and symptoms like irritability, sadness, nervousness, or anxiety. And that's not even considering post-concussion syndrome. And then, of course, sleep. So there's like different schools of thought. Like after you have a head, do you let them sleep? Do you not? So
I've always heard, don't let them sleep.
Exactly. So apparently the old school of thought is don't let people sleep. Keep them awake. Like you don't want them to never wake up.
They'll never wake up.
They're going to go into a coma.
Yeah, that's how I grew up. What's what I grew up thinking.
But recently there's been some new research. I don't know what's true or not. I just think get thee to a hospital.
Right.
I drove myself, so
you
nerd. But like some of them say, no, talk to them, keep them awake, keep them alert so they can answer questions. So I'm not sure if anyone is a doctor out there and you have an opinion, please let us know.
Yes.
But yeah, you might be sleeping more than usual, sleeping less, or having trouble falling asleep. So like if you're like Lauren, you didn't go to the doctor right away and you still went to sleep for 3 days, you might notice, is it harder for me to fall asleep? Am I sleeping way more? Am I only sleeping 2 hours? So these are all things to like keep track of.
Yeah, it's also hard to keep track because you have brain injury.
Yeah, as I say, keep track. And then it's like, wait, that's difficult.
I can't focus in.
Right.
It's crazy how the brain works and how many different ways that you can damage or hurt the brain and how all of the symptoms are kind of the same.
Yeah, we got one more to go.
There's another one?
There's another one. And it continues. The last one we have is the chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
That's definitely a word.
I'm going to take that. CTE, guys.
CTE. Oh, man.
And again, this is also a brain condition associated with repeated blows to the head. This is like the concussion on crack, guys.
Right. This was a big thing a few years ago because there was a lot of athletes.
Or Adam, whatever that guy who killed his family.
Which one? I hate to say that, but there was several. There was a wrestler that did it. There was the football player that it was a lot.
Yeah, this is where, because again, multiple and repeated hits to the head you actually will change the brain chemistry. Parts of your brain will die. Parts of them
Aaron
will.
Hernandez.
Yeah, Aaron Hernandez.
Right.
It started with an A.
That's right.
So this is some of the symptoms. So if you've had multiple brain injuries, like keep track, or have someone do it. These are memory loss, confusion, personality changes. And again, these can be extreme personality changes. Erratic behavior. And one of the biggest ones is aggression.
Yeah, like violent outbursts.
Yeah. Problems paying attention or organizing your thoughts, and difficulty with balance and motor skills. And this onset is usually middle age because you've had time to rack up a bunch of hits to the head. Right. But those are serious things as well, because if you've had a concussion or a brain injury of any sort, your doctor's already told you, like, don't get your head hit again for a good while.
Right. Because you're susceptible to even worse damage.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, I got a concussion and then, oh, I got a different concussion, so that doesn't count.
Right.
No, it's kind of like builds on top of each other. So this is also why, guys, in your phones, on your medical ID, make sure to include that you either had a concussion, you had a stroke, you had whatever you have. So that way, if you ever go to the hospital, like let's say you're presenting a stroke again, or not again, but like fast, someone's taking you to the hospital and you can't articulate what's happening, or you're in a car accident.
It's in your phone.
Yeah. EMTs and police are trained to go to your phone and see if they can pull up your medical ID.
I think they're just like rooting through my pictures.
Well, maybe they're looking for nudes, or you can be like Janine and wear a medical ID bracelet that indicates what you have. So that's always good for doctors, because they can't always go through and find your medical record right away if they're not taking you to your hospital.
Right. And time is of the essence.
It really is, guys. Again, FAST. What does it stand for? F stands for
face.
A stands for
apple.
Oh, we're going to fail.
Injury? Yeah.
Dear God. Can we try again?
Right?
Yeah. S stands for
speech.
And T stands for
time to go to the hospital.
Yeah, get thee to a hospital.
I like that. Get thee to a hospital. I like that.
That's going to be my new thing. Yeah. Get thee to a hospital. Yeah. When in doubt, get thee to a hospital. Right? Uber yourself there. Like whatever you got to do. 911 is the best. But like for
Uber,
some reason.
Lyft, fly. I don't know.
Jump on your broom.
Oh my God. Do we have witches that listen to us?
Hello.
Oh my God.
I'm sure we do. Who loves Harry Potter?
Oh, you know what? That's true.
Yeah.
I have a Harry Potter tattoo. Are you slithering me?
Yeah. My things. Anyways, but so these.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I guess he has like 3 fingers for a claw.
Yeah, it's Ravenclaw.
So yeah, these are all, again, we wanted to make sure like we were able to cover more than just a stroke and a concussion.
Right.
We wanted to pull out some of the other ones that we know some of you have or know people who have them, as to be like, okay, one, we're all one family of brain injuries and symptoms, right? We all share symptoms, right? We're all together in this. But it's also good to keep in mind, because unfortunately you might hit your head again or do something to your head again. So it's good to keep these in mind and keep the other people in your life informed.
Right. And speaking of that, the phone and your information, I'm not 100% sure I have all my information put in my phone.
So
this is an awesome reminder.
Yes. So if you have your iPhone, let's all, like, I'll just talk you guys through this. Again, more people didn't know about this. I was so surprised. So what you do is if you have an iPhone, I don't know how to find this on Android, guys. I'm sorry, but I know there's a way to do it. On your iPhone.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. Get rid of your Android. Get an iPhone, nerds.
Don't judge them. Let them use what they want. But if you have an iPhone, there is one of those like automatic, it's like an NPC, like you can't get rid of it. It plays it on a game, but it's like the uploaded apps on your phone that you can't get rid of.
You can get a Huawei.
What? So it's under the health app. So you click the health app, and then once you do that, on the bottom, it says medical ID. And then when you click medical ID, you can fill out your name and your birthday, any medical conditions you might have, allergies, your emergency contacts. You can also indicate if you're an organ donor. That's on my ID. I don't want to put that on my phone, because who knows? What if I'm out of the country and someone grabs my phone and they're like, ooh, she's an ID, she's a organ donor. Let's just take her kidney. It'll be okay. She was going to give it away anyways.
I'm not sure that's how they think, but all right.
So
weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, right. I like that. No, so like for mine, I include that I have asthma and post-concussion syndrome, right? So that way, if for any reason I'm in an accident or something, they can pull my phone. Look, and it also includes my emergency contact, which is my dad, because he will pick up his phone. My mom won't. So like they know, like, okay, we'll call her dad, and then it says, oh, so I'm allergic to yeast, so we can't give her any medication that might have yeast in it. I don't know what does, but some do. But also, oh, she has post-concussion syndrome. That means she had a concussion at some point, which means we should probably check her head while we're at it.
You should also put in kicks very hard.
Yeah. Like, right? No, actually, it should say don't stare at her, because if people stare at me, I wake up. Like if I'm asleep and someone,
serious?
yeah.
What are you? What? Do you have a sixth
No. I
sense?
almost slapped my grandmother once because she was staring at me, like looking at me while I was sleeping, and I like woke up and swung my hand.
What is wrong with you?
So don't, like the men who stare at goats.
Yeah. So everybody knows now. Lauren beats old people.
Sorry.
I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, but I still have to make it nerdy. I have to tie it back.
How are we bringing this back?
So I'm bringing all this back, guys, because it's super important.
We started out like super nerdy.
Yeah. So
if you guys don't know, because you don't, we're like, all right, so we're going to do this thing, and it's going to like bring awareness to like other different brain injuries and like causes and things like that. That's all we talked about. We didn't talk about anything nerdy, but somehow the first quarter of the show, nothing but nerd.
I know. I'm so proud. So I realized when talking to intern Max that in D&D, when I'm creating my party in Baldur's Gate in particular, I'm the ranger, so I'm a fighter. And then I always try to have 3 fighters in my party of 6, right?
Holy Lord.
Just sit there, okay?
I am.
So I will have my fighter. I usually have a druid. So she fights with a staff, but she can also do healing work. And then I have 3 magic users in the back, so I'm good. So my other one is a berserker. And if anyone's ever played Baldur's Gate, the character that you will pick usually, his name is Minx. And so he is a berserker, so he's a fighter.
I played Gears of War and I've defeated a berserker.
Okay, shut up. And so he has a purple tattoo on his very bald head. See, you should like him. He's bald. But
what?
Shut up.
You sound like the people that try to hook me up with tall girls in junior high school.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll like her. She's like
tall.
your height. What?
Yeah. So Minx had suffered from a blow to the head, and it kind of made him in the game they call him touched or something, like he's a little touched.
Oh no. That's what you say about simple people.
I know, but they say like the multiple blows to the head from being a berserker like left him a little special. And he has a pet hamster named Boo, right? Not the little girl from Monsters Inc., but a little hamster that he's convinced is a space hamster.
This is a deep dive into Lauren's psyche now.
But this is how the game is. He's a real character. And so he's fabulous because he says some of the craziest, coolest things.
I'm under the assumption you're making all of this up.
No, and so he is a real D&D character from like late 90s, early 2000s with a brain injury. And he's still out there kicking butt. And one of his things is butt kicking for goodness, right? And he's a good guy. He's chaotic good, right? Right. And so, but how am I going to make this Disney?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wait, I should probably make sure I get the name right. So his voice actor is a very famous voice actor.
That I agree with.
Yes. And he is very well known in the Disney world as well. His name is Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings is one of the most famous and most recognizable voice actors in the world. He was the voice of Tigger.
T-I-double-G-er.
Right? He's also the voice. Let me see. I just pulled him up. He's also, oh my God, I didn't know this. Darkwing Duck.
Yep.
Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. Pete from Goofy, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Bonkers, and the Tasmanian Devil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard his voice, I was like, oh, he sounds like one of the Beagle Boys. He is Pete from Goofy. Because Pete from Goofy is a Beagle Boy.
Right? Let's see who else. Who has he done recently? But again, I was like, I will tie this back. And then Disney goes into Marvel. And who out there, guys, has recently seen the new Avengers trailer? We don't have time to get into it, but go do yourself a favor and
watch
go cry.
18 times.
Yeah, go cry. Check out the new Avengers official uniforms. They all have a uniform, guys. It's a uniform for the quantum realm.
Yeah, yes.
And am I the only one that's really happy about Natasha's hair?
Yeah,
it's
probably.
turning red again.
No, I'm into that.
Yeah, thank God.
She's Black Widow. She has to have red hair.
They included more Clint Barton.
A lot more.
More Hawkeye. He's literally this trailer gave him more screen time than like the last 2 movies.
Yes.
And Scott, we got some good images of Scott.
Yeah.
Batman. Some stuff there.
You got to see some more beardless Cap.
We got to see some good Nebula fighting, looking like Cap looks like he's gonna I don't know what they're gonna do to him. Oh my God, Steve, just let him be happy. Please. Just let him have his life with Bucky with the goat.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
It's gonna happen, Marvel.
What are the goats' names?
Marvel, I have $20 right here. Will you please make them happen?
Yeah. They're like, no, but you can buy half a movie ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, guys, please remember FAST, which is face, arms, speech, and time. Thank you. I was like, I'm forgetting as I'm going. But yeah, keep those in mind. We're all sharing in of the symptoms.
Well, absolutely. So with brain injuries, I don't know the percentages, but 80% of strokes can be prevented. So when this happens, maybe you hit that beautiful sweet spot of time where they can like reverse the stroke, right?
Yeah. Not all brain injuries are reversible.
No,
but
not at all.
No.
But the faster you get to a hospital, the faster you can get to a doctor, the less likely you're going to have something severe happen to you.
Yes, that is very important.
Never be a Joe.
Don't
Always
be a
go
Joe.
to the doctor.
And apparently don't be a Lauren.
Don't be a Lauren.
I went to work.
You're so, you know what? Shame her, people.
No, I've already shamed myself. We're good. My best friend and my little sis went at me too. So we're good. This is 4 years later. So like, I'm good.
Good.
Like I'm waiting for I'm like, okay, if I get another one, I'm going straight to the doctor.
All right, but we should also avoid getting another one.
I should stop driving.
Everything in my power
I should stop driving cars.
Get another, no, you should just be in like a big bubble suit.
Oh my God, I would totally rock that. I want to be a Michelin man.
Why do I feel like you would wear that during one of your competitions?
Because I probably would.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I know, right?
I'm excited. So,
guys, we are the NeuroNerds. We are here to help as always. You guys can find me at Lauren L. Manzano on Instagram. You can find Joe at Joe So Rocks on everything.
You can find us at the NeuroNerds at everything.
Yes, we want to do a shout out to our Patreon patrons and our subscribers. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate that. We wouldn't, be able to do this without you guys. And we appreciate you guys going on this journey with us.
And on the hashtag NeuroNerds Give Back in light of March.
I
know. In light, because it's March, which is Brain Injury Awareness Month. Our spotlight of the month is
the Brain Injury
Association of America.
Boom!
I think that's, I'm pretty sure. I kept going Brain Injury USA.
I'm so happy that by the way, this is like a rock star moment in our relationship.
Yeah, it is.
Because the whole time I was like, brain injury, and I was just thinking about it and it was giving me a little bit of anxiety. Yeah. And right now I froze. I'm not like Black Panther.
Yeah.
I froze.
I know, right? And he owns it. But no, so that's who we're giving back to this month, guys. And remember their hashtag is hashtag change your mind, which is their hashtag, I think, for this year and next year as well, till 2020.
Hashtag. It's not as good as hashtag the NeuroNerds Give Back.
This is true.
Also want to give a big shout out to Avid, our sponsor. Really appreciate them for sponsoring the podcast and helping us sound as amazing as we sound right now.
Yep. And if you like what you hear, please consider giving us a rating and a review on iTunes.
It would be very, very helpful and we would be very appreciative. I also have a special thing to say to one of our, a friend of the show, Mr. Ryan Morris. Cool guy. We've been chatting for a little bit. He's going in for a craniotomy surgery, I believe, this week.
Yes,
this upcoming
I think you're
week.
Correct.
Yeah. So we've been chatting. I just wanted to wish him luck in the surgery. There's nothing to worry about. It's going to go fine because,
we're all sending our positive energy.
So every single neuro nerd out there, send Ryan some love, some positive energy. And because I believe in that. I absolutely believe in that because I was in a hospital. I'm not supposed to be as functional as I am. And through everybody sending me their positive energy, I'm a superhero who is indestructible. Right? No? Okay, maybe not. But I do believe in the power of good thought and healing. So Ryan, good thoughts, good energy, good vibes coming your way from us neuro nerds and everybody in our community.
Yes. Take care. Have a great rest of your guys' week. We hope that you have a very positive week.
Yeah, I hope for the yin and yang of life that your week is terrible. No?
Wow.
No.
Okay, I am so sorry.
So on that
weird balanced note. Okay.
No, I'm like Thanos. I'm trying to balance the universe.
Oh God.
The Neuro Nerds, as always, we're here to help. And on that
Some of us are.
awkward note, these Neuro Nerds are out.